Before we can figure out the development of how a pop star image is created, it's necessary to first understand what an image is. An image can be seen as an identity that gets associated with a specific person, so more knowledge on the concept identity will be needed. To describe it in a superficial way, identity can be seen as a subordinate term for who we are, or in other words, what divides us from or connects us with the rest and what characterizes us. This can be about how we behave ourselves, our characteristics, our appearance, what clothes we wear, what music we listen to, what job we have, etc. Then how can it be that everyone has their own specific identity and there most likely isn't anyone that has the exact same identity as you or me? The answer to this is that in principle, everyone is indeed a human and can look different, but that we experience and learn an infinite amount of things throughout our lives. This learning can happen as a reaction to our environment, whether that's a counter reaction or, in fact, an adjustment to this environment. We basically adjust ourselves by how the other person behaves themselves. But we are also defined by how the other person sees us. So it all comes down to that we, besides our genes that decide our appearance, are built up out of different identities that we come in contact with. This, however, doesn't mean that we completely coincide with those identities. After all, in some cases, we turn our backs to the other because we don't want to be like them. One of the most important parts of our identity development is the identification with other people, meaning family, friends, peers, and so on. Another group are people that we don't know personally, but see on TV, the radio, YouTube, and any other media. We become a fan of a specific artist, band, or actor, which can mean as much as taking over particular elements. We can start to dress ourselves like them and thus adopt a part of that identity. Because idols in the pop industry are constantly looking for a larger audience, it becomes very important for them to have an identity and share it to the outside world. There is a reason why this genre is called the pop. The content is being created so that it can be consumed by anyone, and the success of an artist or band is being measured by how many fans, views, hits, or sold tickets they have. Prior to a singer or a band reaching a big audience, they have to organize a lot with the help of an agent. As popularity increases, administration does too, so an effort has to be put in the maintenance of publicity. Concerts have to be planned, and the image of the artist has to be controlled. So, in this case of high popularity, there's more to it than just one person, the manager and the management. They make sure the pop star doesn't have to be concerned about things that fall out of the creative area of their career. Naturally, it's necessary to build a structured career, but this also means that these managers and their teams attain a lot of power over the professional life of the artist. After all, they are the people that make a job out of the management of the financial part of the career, and if they are mostly focused on making as much profit out of the client as possible, this can be harmful to their personal life as well. They become some kind of product that needs to adjust to the demand of the public. An identity that doesn't fit within these lines will be shaped into a more fitting one, with the consequence of an artist that can't be himself just to satisfy the management and be certain of a stable career. One opinion believes that if many people listen to or watch the same thing, it can't be anything other than good. It would be almost impossible to be thought of as bad, so how can it be bad? This, however, is not my opinion. Of course, pop music can hardly be seen as very bad. Everyone likes something or finds something catchy about it. That's exactly the point. It's all made to appeal as much and as well to the general public, which means as much as don't try anything different. Look at what's popular and make something similar that will probably do well too. At the end of the day, us humans like things that feel familiar. and make us feel we belong to a specific social class or style. With change and things that fall out of the ordinary, we need the time and the effort to think, watch, and listen differently. In the music industry, there's a division between a singer and a singer-songwriter. Many pop stars in this industry only provide the sound and not the meaning of the well-known songs that we so excitedly sing along to in our car. More often than not, they don't write the lyrics to their worldwide hits themselves, or at least not without any help. And if they do, they get the special name of singer-songwriter. This shows how rare it is in the world of pop music to find artists that are completely responsible for the big picture of the content they are known for. So, should we look at this in another way? Are there things beside the music that play maybe an even bigger role in the success and popularity of a pop star? And is the actual making of music even still apparent in the current environment of music production? When we think of the same rock and roll image that the name Elvis brings up with everyone, an important feature of pop music has already been acknowledged. It's mostly about the show and the character of the artist and how he can perform the words that he sings in a personal and credible way. If we look at it differently, we can compare this performance to an actor that has a ready-made script and needs to act it out to the audience in the most fitting and empathizing way possible. Thus, the show and image play a bigger part and can be seen as the most important traits of the pop. What can be derived from this is that if less work gets put into music, a lot of work goes to the maintenance of the identity. Everyone has a certain image or personality that they have or want to uphold during their lives. However, regular people lead their lives in a more secluded way than how pop stars live theirs. We don't get followed by cameras, and we definitely don't end up as the cover of a gossip magazine when we do something stupid or memorable, but pop stars do. They are seen in a certain way, and if they don't completely align with how the world sees them or wants to see them, they are criticized for it. That is one of the reasons why a solid and delimited identity is of a high importance for the preservation of a pop star's image. If a singer gets bad publicity, it's still publicity, but it might make them lose fans because they are seen as a role model, especially to young kids. To make sure that these situations don't happen, a lot of pop stars are molded into an identity that people can see as an example of how to live their lives. Sometimes it's easier to hide ourselves behind a mask, a different identity, because you want to protect yourself, or in fact to leave behind the image of yourself, create a new me, and be more confident. This can be linked to pop stars who sometimes act as a certain character, which can be due to the involvement of the management on the one hand, or the pop star daring to be more themselves because of the anonymity. These pop stars certainly see a difference between a personality they have developed throughout their lives and the image they want to show the world. Even though the use of social media in certain situations is described as antisocial, it does find its origin in maintaining social relations. The pitfall in this is that the world on social media is so big since its ability to cross borders and oceans. This does indeed mean that we can have as much contact with anyone and find a lot of information, but also that the virtual world can become more interesting than the real one. Even more so, more people can see who you are and what you're doing, which means that they also have a big influence on your identity. In these times, we carry social media everywhere we go, so it's become more of a habit to take out our device on moments we're bored. Its cause and consequence is a constant urge to know what is going on in that moment and take part in the form of comments, challenges, and events. Our so-called fear of missing out has increased because of this. In earlier times, we used to hear about something in our close environment through word of mouth Whereas now we come across something we're missing every day.